Hi, I'm Coach Abby. Thank you so much for tuning in to Love Advice TV. Today we're going to talk about a topic that I think is very popular, and it's really basically messaging an ex to get him back or her back. However, we're going to expand a little bit into it as we go along. First and foremost, we're all very familiarized with the texting. And of course, texting is very efficient. We know that at the very beginning, in order to get our exes back or to try to basically even enter into a conversation with them, we keep it light, we keep it breezy, we convey we're happy. We're basically just, open-hearted as far as humorous and always leaving open-ended questions. Now, I've always been asked, why is this open-ended question? Because think about it, when you give an open-ended question, people are compelled to answer. So that is your typical way of reaching out to an ex and hoping to start a conversation. No, not so fast. Today we're going to talk a little bit about texting's mature counterpart, and it's called sexting. And that in and of itself has become extremely popular, and I think we really need to address it a little bit. And for those of you that are not familiarized with what sexting is about, it's basically sending explicit texts with sexual undertones. Now, does this mean it's good? Is bad? Should we do it? Is it wrong? It's a personal opinion, but I will discuss with you what I feel are the pros and the cons of sexting. Let's go for the pros. So I think that if you think about it, number one, it sets the stage. It creates excitement. It really creates that anticipation of what awaits. So there's absolutely nothing wrong to send something a little bit spicy. It creates, like I said, that whole feeling of, whoa, it's a wow factor. It also, number two, helps with inhibition. Most of the times, when we are in front of someone, we act perhaps in a more shy way than when we are by ourselves. And this allows us to shed our inhibition. So in and of itself, there's nothing wrong, once again, to be able to send something that allows you to express your sexuality. Number three, it helps build intimacy, especially in long-distance relationships that have gone a little bit, especially in long-distance relationships that are a little bit distant. It really brings back, that little flavor that you once had between each other, and the excitement starts building up. The momentum starts building up. So these are what I really refer to as the pros of sexting. Now let's talk a little bit about the cons. So the cons basically has a lot to do with trust issues. So you risk that your partner at some point might decide to share it with all their friends. Now, if this is not something that bothers you, then it's fine. Now, however, it could be something that at some point might find itself in the virtual world. So whenever you do any type of thing, and we all know this, in whatever social media platform we do, we need to always be vigilant of the fact that it can literally be open to anyone. So be very, very careful as to when you share it and how much trust you have. Now, let's assume that your partner or your ex that you're starting to have dialogue with, you trust 100%. What about if his phone is hacked, his computer is hacked, and there you are? So you really expose yourself. You have to make sure that whatever you send is not something that will bite you in the butt one day, and you say, "What really happened? How could he have done something like that?" And worse yet, if he uses it or she uses it, because men sext quite a bit as well, as a threat when you decide to leave the relationship. If you leave me, I will do this. So you have to be very vigilant and very careful. And talking about butt, you have to be careful, such as butt dialing, and we all know what that means. When all of a sudden your phone dials someone that you say, "Oh my God, I never intended to dial that." Sexting can also have that same type of effect. And I'd like to share with you a client of mine, obviously with different names, that went back with her husband after quite a tremendous amount of coaching. And I feel very proud to say that I had a little bit to do with that. And she decided to send a very explicit picture to him at the office. And his name is Richard. So she sent him the picture. Little did she not realize that her colleague, her law partner's name is Richard. And mistakenly, she sent it to him. So you can imagine how mortified she was. You have to be very careful. You have to make sure that you're very vigilant when you do it. You make sure that you know exactly to who it's being sent and to how far you want to go with it in the event that it does go out. I invite you to book a session with me. Maybe I can, sort of direct you, not to convince you differently as far as sexting is concerned, but to help you set certain guidelines that if and when, they do, show up somewhere, at least they're not that offensive. It's something that you can live with. It's something that, it's not going to embarrass you so much. And yet it still doesn't steal the excitement that sexting is designed for. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and enter any comments below. I will try to answer each and every one individually, addressing this or any other relationship issues that you may have. Until next time, I'm Coach Abby.